Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today I went through a little bit of ego death, okay? I got hit with some bad news. However, I transmuted it and now I'm back making a video. And I really wanted to share these downloads, these installations with you. It is Lionsgate Portal, and this is coming to you fresh and live and direct from my cranium, from my mystical body to yours, okay? So these downloads are coming from a lot of contemplation, a lot of wisdom that's been streaming through from the higher realms. One thing that I've understood is that all limitations are self-imposed, okay? Now, at first, this might not sound like it is the truth. However, with a lot of deep dive and understanding, I've realized that life is pushing me towards something, but there's a counter force or an opposing energy or principle that I've got to still pay notice to, okay? These lower entities and these lower astral beings actually have a lot of mental illness and trauma, which is why they're so fragmented from source. You guys get that? So this means you cannot run from your shadow. You got to integrate it as a part of your natural life. You got to use that shadow as a fuel that moves you towards your greatest self, actually, right? Because if there was no evolutionary fuel, right, no propellant for you to go towards where you want to go, what's the point of life anyway? What's the point of an absolutely perfect life where there's no growth, there's no evolution? The whole point of life is evolution. This is what I understood today. I was really thinking about this from some ideas from RJ as well. Just going through this technology of understanding my body is nothing, my body is nothing, my body is nothing. Even though I'm building my body up, it is still nothing. It is still zero, right? This is very key and important because a lot of performers are used to performing all the time. But to actually take down that mask and start speaking from the heart is quite difficult for a lot of performers. So this is what I want you to really start to explore this Lionsgate, is to speak your dang truth. Speak it if it shakes, speak it if your voice trembles, speak it if there's something going wrong. Just speak it out loud, at least for your own clarity. Have conversations with yourself, right? I think much more people need to have conversations with themselves. It might look weird to someone in a New York subway, mumbling towards themselves. We usually stay away from those people. I'm not talking about that kind of self-talk, right? I'm talking about a conversation with the parts of you, right? Just like I'm a nice guy part of me, I'm a bad boy part of me, right? And what if both of those met in a coffee shop and just started to talk with each other and exchange ideas? Where would they meet? Where would they agree, join hands, fist bump? How can we turn them from in-group, out-group, or some kind of a hierarchy between those two, right? But an agreement, a negotiation, a mediation, a moderation, whatever you want to call that, right? This is why we invented the archetype of the priest beast, or the priestess beast. Let's not forget the ladies. However, this is the highly integrated man or woman. Really think about that. The highly integrated man or woman, the Flomo sapien, the one who is the awakened human, the one who understands that they need to purify, they need to Christen themselves, they need to cleanse themselves of all of this gunk from samsara, all of this gunk from this false AI matrix, all of this gunk from these dense lower timelines. They need to get that. They need to get that through their heads, right? And into their heart space. Boom. I've noticed the more resistance I feel, it's because I'm living from my head. I'm living from my logic instead of just dropping in into my experience, into my field, so that I can calibrate my energetics better. Okay? Now, I was writing down my biggest desires on a piece of paper, what I truly desire. And then I wrote right next to it, I wrote like a mundane to-do list of the day, right? And then I started to muscle test and kind of test these out energetically. Like, energetically speaking, how powerful is it for me to relish and savor these topmost desires as if they're already here, right? What is the energetic difference between that and a mundane list of things to do, right? Task by task, I just have to go on to the next thing. I just have to do my actions, but there's no heart in it. So that leaves you as an apathetic human. And remember, guys, apathy is the opposite of flow state, okay? If you actually look at the core model, if you're having zero challenge and zero skills, you're apathetic. You're very low energy because you're not challenging yourself and you're not improving yourself, right? I'm not talking about self-improvement, which gets you on a treadmill, right? On a rat race, right? You're not going to be on a hamster wheel. But what you are going to do is you're going to carve your own path, the pathless path, right? The way forward is the way inwards, okay? So stop overthinking so much and stop being so in your head and start bringing the energy down, 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 into your feet, into the bottom of your feet. Wiggle those toes like roots of a tree connecting you to the earth. So when I was looking at this list of desires and how I could solve this list of desires, and then compared to this to-do list that I had to do, one is just robotic execution, and one is like completely embellished and wrapped in story, emotion, right? Different things that are happening. Now, when I started to notice I also wrote down what's stopping me from my greatest desires, and I measured those. So what I noticed is, when I was speaking about my desires and actually feeling into them energetically, it would raise my vibration so high. It would raise my feeling frequency so high. And when I was thinking about what's blocking me, it made my energy lower, very low. Now, the to-do list was still okay. It kind of rated a meh, like a neutral level, a little bit high, a little bit low, but it wasn't anything very, transformational. So this got me to understanding that intention and desire is so key when we want to magnetize something in our life, right? So when I realized this today, that all limitation is self-imposed, it means that some part of me is blocking my blessing. Some part of me doesn't fully believe in it or believe that I can deserve it or a sense of worthiness. But does the tree need to deserve that sunlight? Do the birds deserve that nest that they're on? Do they deserve that, or is that something that's to earn or worthy? This is not an aspect of nature, guys. Deserving is not an aspect of nature. I just got this. And once you get this, I'm sure it'll shift your consciousness. I'm sure at this Lionsgate portal, things are either rippling for you or they're not working out, okay? Now, if they're not working out, you got to transmute that thing, just like I did today, right? You got to transmute it. You got to use it. You got to use that energy for something else, just like this wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't gone through that this morning, okay? I'm still a little bit sleepy. What I'm realizing about our limits is that if you have other people coming in and creating limits for you, that's going to also lead to bad luck and problems, right? And I actually got this from speaking to my girlfriend quite recently. So there's a way of having a mindset that is so sharp and strong that it allows you to be limitless instead of limited. Now, this limitless mentality comes from you understanding that you are a limitless being, that you are a creator in this reality. And you're co-creating, remember, right? You're not handed everything on a silver plate. You're going to have to put in the reps. You're going to have to put in the work into the dojo, the inner work especially, okay? Now, it's so easy to take the easy option, the easy road, right? It's smooth sailing, it's comfortable, but it doesn't bring you that fuel, right? That sense of purpose, that sense of acceleration. So sometimes you need somebody to tell you enough is enough. And if you are just a raging brush fire, you're gonna get stomped out by life. So you need to understand, if I don't slow down right now, if I'm being super impulsive, and if I don't slow down right now, the universe will slow me down. I'll get an injury, I'll get some kind of, I'll be caught up in something else, right? Someone in my family will fall sick. Some resistance will happen whenever you feel this inkling within you. This is why it's so essential to breed positive thinking, right? What do I mean breed it, right? There was a generativity to actually sitting with your emotions and feeling through them. There's a generativity, there's a principle of care, because all emotions come from care. The more serious you make it in your mind, the more heavier it gets. This is one download. You see, we live as survival-based creatures, therefore we measure negativity way more than positivity, okay? But positivity's also got to be created and generated. Okay, a lot of people come to me, okay? They're down bad. They're just in the dumps. They're in the slump. And I talk to these people on the regular. How do I maintain a positive, chirpy attitude when they're very down, very low, not feeling good? I don't personalize things, because I understand the more personal it is, the more universal it is. So their struggle, I might have gone through that similar struggle in a past life. Even though I might not have a connection to it, I know I'm a human being who's been through many lifetimes. I understand. Now, you might not believe in reincarnation, and you might question that or whatever, but this is the way that I'm piecing things together and understanding things together. And I've known this idea that the Upward Spiral Gang didn't just blossom from some of my lowest points. It was the code that saved me, guys. Upward Spiral Gang, all it means is just one foot in front of the next. We keep rising up. We're not rising up forever. That's just our nature, is to rise. We are just the risers, right? We go towards source energy. We go towards God. We go towards the divine, towards Buddha nature, Buddha mind, right? We go towards the Christ light. We go towards the healing presence of the beings that we work with, so we can silence the inner chatter and be able to actually thrive when we want to. So how do you, as a savage shaman, become limitless? Well, the first thing to understand is that if you really get that you are eternal consciousness, you are timeless awareness, and that these are just sensations in your body that are coming in and out, here and there, right? And if we're constantly mixing with other people's energies, different environments we're going to, and we're maybe absorbing other people's energies like a sponge, we have to learn to set boundaries. We have to learn to bring our energy back, so we're not so open-hearted that we become naive or gullible. We want to remain in that open-hearted warmth, and at the same time, you gotta know that when it's time to set a boundary, boom, you do it. It's time to take action, boom, you do it. But you still remain in that open-heartedness and that care, that presence. Once you can maintain this core intention of care, presence, and calmness, everything else will blossom from that. It'll blossom from it. So really start to give yourself the impetus, the movement, the right frame of mind. A lot of people want to put limits around you and shackles and chains around you. That's an important thing to understand, okay? Because whenever you impose your will onto others, it starts reducing your own will. Whenever you impose your will onto others, you're basically giving it away. Okay, this is what I understood today. I don't know if this download resonates with anybody, but if I force somebody to go off of their karmic trajectory and follow mine, I am enmeshing my karma with theirs. You gotta be at the center of your power. You gotta know that you're creating all of this. And there are times where you feel bad or low, but you gotta understand that maybe your spirit guides are doing that to teach you a very important lesson. It's actually gonna benefit your survival in the future. So don't be discouraged. Hey, if life gives you demons, you turn it into demonade, right? That's the thing. Okay, that's a weird example, but let's just say that whatever is your self-imposed limit is telling you something about your subconscious mind, right? Because your subconscious mind obeys whatever you tell it. It's always saying yes, just like God is, right? God is also always saying yes to you. You're like, I'm worthless. He's like, okay, I guess so. If you're on board with that kind of thought. That's not my thought though, right? That's yours, but okay, I guess we'll go with it. You know what I realized? My inner critic is so loud, and that's the reason why I tapped into this flow state path. Because I understood my inner critic is actually sabotaging me. It's not helping me, right, move along perfectly. It's giving me all of these different codes that aren't actually formulating where I want to go. The inner critic is that kakodaimon, right? That thing that self-sabotages you, that brings you away from the now. I highly recommend anybody, if you want to go from limited to limitless, to infuse yourself into your own spiritual environment. Go all the way in, okay? Sage, incense, feathers, whatever, go overboard with it. Infuse yourself into these different environments, jungle walks. Invest in your own health and healing, right? Invest in your own health and healing, because that will help you with your wealth. That will help you with your relationships. If you have a good sense of health and vitality, that's going to help you keep your prophecy and legacy going. It's going to keep the fire lit even when you're an old man or woman, right? You got to really make a note of where in your life you're still living in reaction to others rather than being the lighthouse, right? Where all the boats can find their way in the darkness. When you remain the lighthouse, you'll notice no matter what, there'll always be energy circling around you. So that in a certain way, I was never alone, okay? I was lonely growing up, not able to perceive that these spirit guides are here protecting me. I still did not have the eyes to see because my pineal was so calcified, because I had gone down a weird path of trying to escape reality, instead of what? Embrace. Be here, be now, be present, be super. You gotta be a little bit superfluous, not superstitious. So break these self-imposed chains on you, right? I need to achieve this much in order to feel worthy. I need to do this in order to earn more. I need to do that in order to feel good enough. No. You are enough. You've always been enough. You are good enough. You just need to claim it. You are a sentience, a divine intelligence. And it's weird to think about, you existed even before humanity was created, and that is the primal, the primordial, the Primal Sutra. Right? This goes deep into our philosophy, the understanding of this, that you, the I am, are unconditional love. And with that unconditional love, you have this timeless wisdom. And with that, You also have talents, abilities, certain gifts in terms of how you can use your imagination in a unique way. And imagination is the true mind of God. You are all aspects of your higher self, your totality. So that means you are part of your higher self that's just having a temporary low frequency human experience. You're experiencing as the I am, the temporary confines of body consciousness, while your higher self exists way beyond space-time. You are your higher self, it's just in less volume. Remember, every thought is equal in weightlessness. It is your belief in the authenticity and the veracity of those thoughts, the truth of those thoughts, and of course your subjective identification to those thoughts that gives it sway and power over your consciousness and your body of energy. This life is a blank canvas for the immortal creator within us all to tap in, to flow, to create. So now it's time for total communion. Just be so connected to the totality that you become unstoppable. You become limitless, okay? Shout out Bradley Cooper in that movie too, okay? And have an incredible day. I hope you enjoyed today's Lionsgate portal. The gate is still open. Stay enriched, stay valuable, and stay on Tao, okay? Stay in the zone. Let's get it today, Upward Spiral gang. May we never be the same again. You got this, we got this. Much love. Boom.